Forget everything you think you know about happiness. For years, we've been told that dopamine is the happiness chemical, the source of motivation, reward, and pleasure. But that's only part of the story. An exciting, incomplete snapshot of a far more complex symphony happening inside your brain. Dopamine may give you the thrill of a new achievement, the rush from social media likes, or the anticipation of something rewarding, but it fades fast, leaving you craving the next fix. The truth is, dopamine is not the chemistry of happiness. It's the chemistry of pursuit. Real, lasting joy lies beyond it. To understand the true science of happiness, we have to look deeper at how our brain's chemical systems evolved not just to chase pleasure, but to sustain meaning, connection, and fulfillment. Let's go beyond dopamine and uncover the real chemistry of lasting joy. The human brain is a masterpiece of balance. Every emotion, every state of mind, is the result of a delicate interplay among neurotransmitters, tiny chemical messengers that allow neurons to communicate. Dopamine is only one player, and while it gets all the attention, it's not the one that creates deep contentment. Dopamine pushes us to seek and strive. It's the chemical of wanting. When you get that hit of dopamine, it's your brain's way of saying, yes, that felt good. Do it again. It's what keeps you scrolling on your phone or working late to hit a goal. But here's the paradox. The same system that motivates you to seek happiness can actually keep you from feeling it. This is what neuroscientists now call the dopamine trap. The brain adapts to high dopamine stimulation by lowering its baseline sensitivity. That means the more you chase pleasure, the harder it becomes to feel it. Studies from Stanford University and the National Institutes of Health show that chronic dopamine overstimulation, from constant notifications, caffeine, junk food, or even excessive goal chasing, can desensitize dopamine receptors, creating a state of dullness, boredom, and even depression. The cycle of seeking replaces the experience of being. You end up always reaching, never arriving. So if dopamine isn't the source of lasting joy, what is? The answer lies in the quieter, steadier molecules that work behind the scenes: serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, and endocannabinoids. Each one plays a distinct role in how we experience deep happiness, and together, they create the chemistry of true emotional well-being. Let's start with serotonin, the molecule of inner peace and self-worth. While dopamine drives you to get what you want, serotonin helps you appreciate what you have. It's linked to feelings of contentment, confidence, and social belonging. When serotonin is balanced, you feel grounded, calm, and connected to life. Unlike dopamine, which spikes and crashes, serotonin's effects are more stable and enduring. Interestingly, serotonin is deeply tied to sunlight, sleep, and gut health. Around 90% of the body's serotonin is produced in the gut, not the brain. That means your microbiome, the trillions of bacteria in your digestive system, directly affects your mood. A 2022 Harvard study confirmed that people with diverse gut bacteria had significantly higher serotonin activity and lower rates of anxiety and depression. So the road to joy might literally begin in your stomach. Eating fiber-rich foods, reducing processed sugar, and spending time in natural sunlight aren't just lifestyle tips, they're serotonin activators. Then there's oxytocin, the hormone of connection and trust. Often called the love hormone, oxytocin floods the brain when you hug someone, help a friend, or even share a heartfelt conversation. But beyond affection, oxytocin is what allows humans to cooperate, to feel empathy, to build lasting bonds. It tells your brain you're safe, you belong. In a world driven by individual achievement, oxytocin reminds us that joy isn't a solo experience. Loneliness, according to the CDC and numerous psychological studies, can increase stress hormones and shorten lifespan as dramatically as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Meanwhile, social support, laughter, and acts of kindness trigger oxytocin release, creating a biochemical feedback loop that deepens both happiness and health. The happiest people, it turns out, aren't the ones who achieve the most. They're the ones who connect the most. But joy isn't only about calmness and connection. It's also about vitality and resilience. That's where endorphins come in. Endorphins are your brain's natural painkillers and euphoria agents. They're released during exercise, laughter, deep breathing, and even creative expression. Runners often describe the runner's high as a blissful state where physical exertion transforms into mental clarity. That's endorphins at work, masking discomfort and replacing it with a deep sense of satisfaction and flow. Interestingly, neuroscientists have discovered that endorphin release doesn't require extreme effort. Gentle exercise, dancing, or even listening to your favorite music can stimulate these chemicals. That's why people who move regularly, even in simple ways, report better moods and lower anxiety levels. Movement isn't just physical, it's emotional medicine. And finally, there's a lesser-known yet fascinating system, the endocannabinoid network. This is your body's internal version of cannabis, producing molecules that regulate mood, memory, and perception of time. These compounds help create the feeling of being in the moment. When the endocannabinoid system is active, you experience presence, an effortless sense of here and now. Meditation, creative flow, and even being in nature are all proven to increase endocannabinoid activity. Together, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, and endocannabinoids form the chemical architecture of lasting joy. While dopamine gives you short bursts of excitement, these molecules sustain your emotional landscape, grounding you in meaning, connection, and contentment. But here's something even more profound. Happiness isn't just chemical, it's relational. Each of these systems interacts in dynamic harmony, influenced by how you live, think, and relate to others. Modern neuroscience shows that joy is not simply something that happens to you. It's something your brain learns, strengthens, and cultivates over time. In fact, MRI studies on long-term meditators, people who practice compassion and mindfulness, show structural changes in brain regions linked to empathy, emotion regulation, and well-being. Their brains literally rewire toward happiness. This challenges the myth that happiness is something you find. It's something you train. Just as you can build muscle through physical exercise, you can strengthen the neural circuits of joy through mental and emotional habits. Gratitude, journaling, deep breathing, spending time in nature, acts of kindness, these aren't feel-good cliches. They're scientifically proven strategies that modify your brain chemistry. One groundbreaking study from the University of Wisconsin found that compassion meditation increased activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area associated with decision-making and positivity, while simultaneously reducing stress responses in the amygdala, the brain's fear center. Another from Yale University revealed that practicing gratitude for just 2 weeks raised serotonin levels and improved sleep quality. The takeaway: you can literally sculpt your brain toward joy through intentional practice, but lasting happiness also requires balance. You don't eliminate dopamine. You learn to harmonize it with the other chemicals. Dopamine fuels motivation, but it must be guided by meaning. When your pursuits align with purpose, dopamine no longer creates addiction. It creates momentum. Combine that drive with the grounding calm of serotonin, the warmth of oxytocin, the vitality of endorphins, and the mindfulness supported by endocannabinoids, and you've built the neurological foundation of true joy. And here's something profound: the brain is not fixed. Neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to rewire itself, means that even years of stress or emotional numbness can be reversed. Studies from the National Institute of Mental Health show that consistent positive habits, like mindful breathing, acts of compassion, and physical activity, create measurable improvements in emotional regulation within as little as 8 weeks. The brain learns joy just like it learns fear or pain, so the question becomes, are you feeding your dopamine or your deeper chemistry of happiness? Are you chasing the next reward or nurturing the molecules that make you feel whole? Real joy doesn't come from what you achieve. It comes from what you cultivate: peace, connection, purpose, and gratitude. The modern world constantly pushes dopamine buttons, but the ancient wisdom of your biology is whispering something different. Slow down, connect, move, breathe, give, and appreciate. That's where lasting happiness lives. And maybe that's the ultimate secret. Joy isn't an emotion to pursue, it's a state to embody. It's what emerges when your brain, body, and heart finally synchronize. You stop seeking happiness as something out there and realize it's a chemistry you create in here. When neuroscientists talk about happiness now, they're no longer focused on a single molecule. They're talking about harmony, an orchestra of neurochemistry playing the music of a fulfilled mind. Dopamine might be the spark, but serotonin, Oxytocin and endorphins are the fire that keeps you warm long after the spark fades. So the next time you feel yourself chasing that next high, pause, take a breath, notice the moment. Smile at someone, write a few words of gratitude, go outside and let sunlight touch your face. You're not just improving your mood, you're fine-tuning your biology. You're reminding your brain what real happiness feels like, because true joy isn't loud or fleeting. It's quiet, deep and alive in every moment you choose to live consciously. Beyond dopamine lies a world of balance, meaning and connection, and when you unlock that, you don't just feel happy. You become it. That's the real chemistry of lasting joy.